Welcome back to another ContiBreak video. This is with our Sanction A finals here at Honors Ground Baguio, with our challengers being on the top 8 premium side. Our resident Diablo girl, Dana Medina, with her great nature, and on the other side we have Dwight Faunil with his new Nectar, our defending champion. I'm pretty sure you are tired of seeing his face, but here you go.
Well, Dwight has been seeing a lot of toppings lately, and also Dana, ever since she picked up that Great Nature deck, she has been seeing the camera a lot. And also, we do see Dwight a lot, especially with the Force. He has always been with the He has always been with the Force ever since he was in Kagero, but we haven't seen him use Kagero ever since he picked up Neo Nectar. I guess he's picked it up and he's been enjoying it lately, don't you think?
Yeah, I do think he's been enjoying the new Nectar lately, especially so that he's been topping all standard tournaments so far, defending his title at the final stage. All feature matches are with him right now, but we can't deny that Great Nature, Dana Medina, has also been seeing the spotlight. But as of the matchup, let's see, looks like Great Nature has been first. Force Clan against Axel Clan. What do you think of the matchup?
I understand that being first to go does give you that head of an advantage, since you'll be getting to grade 3 first and getting that gift first. But ever since even though going second, Dwight has been having a great time. Even though going second, he still has a way to recover just by getting to grade 3. But the problem here is that Leopold getting that second right is a big deal, since he has that double mill that threatens either a crit or putting up a full field. And I guess that's why he went away from Kagero, since Kagero doesn't really retire as much as a PBD.
But will the field advantage and hand advantage be able to save what a Great Nature has already shown us? The early game lead, with the early game rush, trying to burn resources as much as possible, while on the Great Nature side, the resources are not as much burned with the draws of the Minoculous Tiger we have recently seen. Will those plant tokens, or will the field advantage that Neo Nectar generates be proven effective against a first-to-go Hamsky deck with a full Hamsky ride chain? All we need to see now is the grade 3.
Well, a Neo Nectar's turn 2 is way more impactful than a Great Nature's turn 2. As you can see, the turn 2 for a Neo Nectar, he gets to call a lot of tokens, which is a 5k booster, and with Fruit Basket, he would even get 10k boosters or even a 20k lane just by giving out a Soul Blast and 1 card from hand. Damage check there, putting up a front trigger. That's a protective trigger for the Great Nature player.
So it looks like the game tempo is still even, and no definite winner of the turns is being seen right here. But we will see fire at last. Oh, the Great Nature going first, the grade 3.
He milled the trigger. Milling a trigger just gives it a plus 15k. He would have actually, right, gender. 15k with a crit also means that she would be calling something from the hand. And putting that zebra at the front, it's a 19k with one hamster on the side and 1 binoculous tiger onto the right. Heal is good for the Great Nature player. She has the lead and looks like will be keeping the advantage that she has. Milling another heal trigger, choosing 1 to retire. Most likely gonna retire. That's actually, yeah, that Corolla Dragon is actually a great choice, since he's not gonna ride the maiden.
Deny that plus power stacking for future superior calls.
Alright, here it comes. We know it's here. She's bringing out the dice, folks. This is...
So Great Nature with that Leopold first ride is actually not bad, but it would have gone better with the Hamsky ride, especially so that he milled the trigger, which was easily guarded with the Sentinel. The field advantage would have been appreciated very much by Great Nature. So will this, but even so, Great Nature is able to burn hand defensive trigger coming from our Neo Nectar user.
To stash from the zebra, will be guarded with that Fruit Basket Elf. The Neo Nectar then starts his turn, riding a grade 3, knowing how much impact he's going to bring. If he rides a Cecilia, it's still okay, but if he rides I'm sorry, if he rides the Maiden, that would add 2 more tokens into the field along with the force marker.
Or you know, tomato.
Oh yeah, tomato. Here we go. It's a tomato. A tomato. Look at those juicy tokens being ready to be eaten from the back row. Force marker being brought down. Here's a Kagero being reminiscent of his glory days way back in 2018, but did not see top 8 in BWC, did he?
No, it was to great nature's throne. So will we replicate a great nature champion this tournament? So looks like our new Nectar user has chosen actually to ride the tomato instead of the maiden.
No, I don't think so. I think he drew that from the tomato because I think a better ride would have been the maiden. I think he drew the tomato. Drew the maiden through the tomato.
Oh, I see. My mistake.
Oh, and
So yeah.
there you have it. He drive checked the Cecilia. That's gonna be the next turn for the Neo Nectar player.
Looks like Neo Nectar is ready for his next turn. If he has a next turn, looks like Neo Nectar is trying to play safe by targeting the rear guards that he deems to be threats. So with 3 damage to 1, Great Nature's turn will be more impactful, and Neo Nectar will try to look at the future turns, the future defensive turn, more prioritized than his offensive turn.
All right, we see the Great Nature's Vanguard alone and fieldless as well. I think they would anything that she rides right now. She chooses to ride to Hamsuki. She's gonna discard 2 and choose to search for 2 more Hamsuki grade 1 and grade 2 from the deck, calling it down, having 22k attackers into the Axel circle. There is still 1 more circle to be placed as well.
Having 1 damage to Great Nature allows her to make such risky plays by discarding hand to trade for offensive capabilities. But as we have seen on the previous game with the Gear Chronicle, 1 defensive trigger for the Neo Nectar might end the onslaught of attacks by Great Nature. But with that trigger, looks like he might have 1 more attack left and attacks to the side lane with that defensive trigger, putting him, the Neo Nectar user, at 4 damage against 1. And how many cards in hand, may I ask, Mr. Neo Nectar? How many cards in hand? 3 cards in hand. Looks like Neo Nectar is pushed to a corner.
Yeah, being pushed to a corner, he chooses not to attack the Vanguard, not knowing that it's already a 1 damage to 4. So he needs to get at least a heal trigger here to at least have at least 2 damage of breathing room. Since defensive triggers is a big deal, shutting down those 22k attacks, putting a 1 trigger at a 23k defense line. Only 1 counterblast to be utilized by the Great Nature, but it looks like Dwight is choosing to hit face at this point since he rides that Cecilia, counterblasts 1, and then puts a 10k plus on the front row. All the force markers are onto the side, making Cecilia a 23k base.
Especially so, I think at this point in game, especially I do think that the Neo Nectar user should hit phase to be able to catch up to the damage difference. Especially knowing that the Great Nature user specializes in spear calling, and with those 3 units on the front row, I don't think it would have much of an impact to remove them right now. Especially if the Great Nature user has Leopold in hand. So
right now, I think the Great Nature player is just trying to control the damage that she is going to receive. Since she's still at 1 damage, she's willing to take 2. She's going to guard it for a 2 to pass. Drive checking. That heal trigger. There we go. We have a match here, folks, since it's still on. 3 damage to 1.
all effects to the Vanguard.
All effects being given to the Vanguard, hoping for another trigger. It will not pass. Those side lanes are huge. Yeah, they are. No crits to them, but Dwight chooses to hit the rear guards. The problem here is that just by riding 1 Leopold, there could be a potential full field and another Axel marker as well.
Those rear guards attack would be easily replaced if the Great Nature is able to ride that very crucial Leopold. If he, looks like there you have it. The first is a normal unit. She is able to super call any grade 2 or less. Well, looks like she will be calling one. Another normal unit mill will ensure that she will have the field advantage replenished or and continue the onslaught that she has started. 4 axle markers already.
There we go, another normal unit. This is what we were talking about earlier. She gets to call another pair or just one more binoculous tiger. This is a very dangerous turn for it's a very dangerous turn for Dwight here since he has 3 units into the field. He might actually need to sacrifice one hand card to counterblast one to use that Cecilia skill. Okay, shuffle deck, choosing maybe to utilize that one more axle marker. But the problem here is that those are still 19k and 18k lanes. One defensive trigger would actually shut those down along with the Vanguard since it's still 12k. The Vanguard is still 12k. It does not increase to anything, so it would need one trigger just to deal any damage. That's right. They're not really that much. They're not really that different, you know. They superior call. They have great numbers. They recover a lot just by riding one grade 3. Isn't that right?
They each have their advantages in this sort of situation. The superior call, consistent superior call goes to, of course, Neo Nectar, but a superior call mechanic on an Axel clan is very, very nice. Especially that since most Axel clans' problems right now is being able to replenish the field or call cards to the field without trying to spend any of their hand and survive next turn. Great Nature has this game pretty much in on top, except that looks like Neo Nectar's strategy to attack the rear guards has paid off, especially with the ridiculous amount of defensive triggers that he has been having, and the ridiculous amount also of superior calls that Great Nature has is thinning her deck really quickly. And with the right plays, Neo Nectar might just be able to find an alternate win con, not just push her at 6 damage.
Yes, I guess this goes to show you don't always have to go face in Vanguard standard. I mean, if you look at that, if the Great Nature player had any counter blast at all, she could actually fulfill those 19Ks, those 24K lanes instead of a 19, 19, 22, 18. It could have been a 23, 27, 24. It could have actually went through. But Dwight must have thought way ahead just by giving her one counter blast and just leaving her hoping that he doesn't get any defensive triggers since it's a 23k base and making those axle markers not that relevant. And we have not been seeing any front triggers being checked yet. So,
especially since I believe that Great Nature is an 8 front build, but the ridiculous amount that the heals appear more often than the front trigger at the damage is very questionable.
But that's the thing. She's been left at 1 damage for... Oh, you cannot boost with a grade 2, sir. Would you like me to teach you how to play Vanguard? Critical checked by Cecilia. Critical to the Vanguard, giving 2 counter blasts and 1 heal trigger. That heal is also bad. Almost 2 or 3 of the Great Nature players' heal triggers are already nullified since she was staying at 1 damage this entire time.
Looks like the flow of the game has been what's the term? Looks like the flow has changed so quickly. Neo Nectar suddenly having the advantage both on the field, on the damage, and on the hand. So fast, with just 1 crit, we are able to see Neo Nectar already visible in winning the game and defending his title of back-to-back champion again.
Wow.
attacking that
That
binoculus.
hate for binoculars.
All right, that's another
Lord.
counterblast not going to be
69 though.
utilized unless she draws another one. 69 swung to the Vanguard, leaving both of them at 3 damage each. Now, Great Nature is able to activate heal triggers, but who knows what she still has. 12k swung to the Vanguard, still going to be a one to pass. We haven't seen any front triggers coming out yet, so we're going to see a bit of action at this moment.
Wow.
Bison and a Tank Mouse. Tank Mouse is actually good since she'll be getting cards in hand again. Counterblast 1 for the Binoculus, milling a Zebra. That's going to be a draw again to the hand.
So this is 90.
Looks like Great Nature has it tough, especially with consecutive 12k attacks to a 13k base Vanguard. And so far, for the past turns, Great Nature has let the attacks pass thanks to triggers. But looks like this turn, it was a free attack for New Nectar. Not being able to pass shows the advantage of Force clans have against Axel clans such as Great Nature.
Alright, New Nectar is being forced to guard each and everything since he will be put to 5 damage if he doesn't guard all of these attacks. He won't have any more breathing room. Calculating how many triggers or heal triggers he has left, he might not have enough since the Great Nature has a potential 7 attacks during her turn. Yeah, potential indeed, but putting you at 5 damage and 7 attacks, knowing that your hand might not be able to guard it, not having a benefit of a defensive trigger, it's still gonna be hard. But if you look at the Great Nature's deck, it's thinning out like a woman on lipo. We can still see Dwight fending the overpopulated Great Nature deck.
Making it really hard for Great Nature to guard, especially with those lanes having a pump, a stackable power with superior calls, and a Cecilia Vanguard ensures that he is able to proc those units every turn. And I believe the front row also has plus 10, making the side lanes really big compared to what Axel can bring to the table, with only plus 10k lanes easily shut down by a single defensive trigger.
But that's the thing, we haven't been seeing any front triggers coming out of the Great Nature, but maybe the next turn is going to be different this time. She has a lot of potential to swing, and actually not much triggers have been popping out lately, only heals and draw triggers. So I want to see pain go through the eyes of this Neo Nectar player since he kicked my ass last game. And he has been topping way too much. Okay, I just gotta say, he has been topping way too much, but he has earned it. He has earned it. He has been playing Force decks this entire time, which people have been saying is the runt of the group, except for Nova Grappler, is the runt of all the clans and what do you call it? Gifts.
I believe trying to put Force Clan as the bottom of the tier list in terms of Magic gift markers is an understatement, especially with all the support that Force has been having. Not to mention that Force Clan has the most clans of all gifts. So the damage is taken, a heal trigger.
Jesus Christ!
Looks like Great Nature.
A crit coming out, and those are the fronts that
we
she
are
wanted.
seeing the front triggers that we have been missing so far. And with that 2 damage, 2 cards gone from the deck, it looks like Great Nature will be having her final turn next turn, her final push. But with 2 front triggers gone, what more can she do? Especially with that heal trigger. Just trying to deny the damage, increasing the chances New Nectar has on defensive triggers. Just really puts a thorn on Great Nature's side. Sentinel?
That's right. Her Sentinel has been called down so that that one attack is going to be nullified. Another swing there by the Broccoli. That's really huge, really big, but she has 2 defensive fronts. At least we know that her front triggers are working at this point.
At least those front triggers finally have a use. But is it right for it to work at this very moment? It would be more appreciated that it would have been on the offensive turn of Great Nature.
That's exactly just it, and I don't think we'll be seeing any more Leopold turns coming out since she actually has to mill them if she rides them. So knowing that she does run the Bison, so it's a potential ride and will be another potential 8 attacks. Now that she has Counterblast, more attacks will be coming out next turn.
But is it wise to add another axle marker to the field, knowing that despite having an additional 2 attacks with that armed Bison, will she be able to put anything at all to that rear guard circle with very few cards left in hand and the potential threat of a defensive trigger shutting down most of the attacks?
Right, you are there. Yeah, you're right. Actually, she could actually just use that card as another lane, or she could just she could actually ride it. But the problem there is that she's already it's 3 to 5. Dwight has 2 damage of breathing rooms that she could potentially get as a defensive trigger, and his cards in hand is still very fat as well. So it's gonna be difficult for her to push him down, knowing that she could drive check double fronts twice, but that's still a difficult thing to do since we don't know what's in Dwight's hand. There could be a perfect guard, another 20 guard, and you know that he has been healing. He's been very active. It's been his damage zone has been very active, battling this Axel.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Oh, looks like Great Nature has pushed for the final turn. 6, 5 front. I mean, how many front? Yeah, 5 front triggers. Very thin deck shows that we are nearing the end of the game right here. 1 defensive trigger will break the dreams that Great Nature has for the rest of the game.
Well, there goes the booster, there goes the Tico, and there goes the title. So we are seeing the final turns for each and every one of them since 1 card in hand for the Great Nature. We are now maybe hoping for a front trigger coming out. No, she's going to start attacking with the rear guards first.
Armed Bison.
Yeah, it is Armed Bison. 22, and there's the defensive trigger!
The defensive trigger will break Great Nature's dreams of winning this game or proceed any further. Only 1 lane will be able to attack that Vanguard circle, and it's the 27k Pencil Hero Hamske.
She still has the drive check. Oh no, she already did 1. Dwight says, wait, what are we going to do?
27, 23, 28. Vanguard pa no para no pass.
Very chivalrous play for New Nectar, trying to no pass because that was the initial intention, despite knowing that the first drive check was a non-trigger.
Well, she can still attack with that Binoculars Tiger and give +5 to the ones that can still deal damage. It's going to be 19, but a potential 24, 24, 23, and that's a 27k hamster on the 4th marker there. We are
with 5 cards in hand. This game will not be ending for New Nectar anytime soon.
By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe to Team ContiBreak. This game match was brought to you by Honors Ground Baguio. That's the right Honors Ground Baguio.
At Baguio City, Philippines.
Colder than your ex-girlfriend. Happy Valentine's Day, guys. All right.
Happy Valentine's. Remember that love wins.
Because it's stand.
Doesn't matter what you are, what you identify to be, as long as you like and subscribe to our channel. We won't judge, as long as you give us money.
If you like and subscribe, we don't care if you don't vaccinate your kids.
As long as you like and subscribe, we don't care if you're a Trump supporter.
If you like and subscribe, we'll make W Slasher talk.
Hey!